Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a good week. We certainly did, because we got a whole bunch of new parts to bolt on this thing. And the goal is to sort out our intercooler piping. So we're going to be moving our AC compressor from down on the bottom, which on these conversions puts it inside that frame rail, and you have to do some cutting. We didn't want to do all that. So we're using this part here. This is from a medium duty truck, like a, I think they actually put them on Fords and Kenworths or something.
Yeah, I think where it came off of was like a 1995 Ford F800.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, so you take the bottom water neck off, and this basically relocates the AC compressor from down here to up above it. So we're going to be bolting that on, and then in this box we have our compressor itself. So we'll see where that thing's going to live. And then here we have our alternator. So when you do this swap or conversion, whatever you want to call it, you have to go to the medium duty alternator, which is a little bit bigger than what pickups have, but you know, it's a small price to pay, I guess. So we just want to get all this stuff fitted in there so we know where everything's going to be, where our intercooler piping is going to have to be. You know, if we have to make any changes or build our own piping, we'll know, and we can see, you know, how our radiator hoses need to be, all that good stuff. So we're going to get to work. So before we get started, we're going to go ahead and pull the radiator and fan shroud back out, get it out of the way. So we have to get to the front of the engine. The tensioner here gets relocated too, so it gets relocated up here on the front somewhere. So it'd be a lot easier to get to it without all this stuff. There's the old one and there's the new one. So just the water inlet doesn't move. It just moves the AC compressor right above it instead of right below it. So this one has a removable water neck where that one doesn't. But other than that, it's the same part, just kind of flipped over. So that's how that works. And then the alternator mounted above the inlet on this one, or on the new one, the alternator will mount up higher above the compressor. I just had that in there. Not holding your mouth right.
Yeah, so So we kind of figured something out, putting this thermostat housing on. This casting, it came out a little further here originally. So when you try and go through this Rob Bonnie Fab bracket and try and get everything straightened up, it wouldn't allow the thermostat housing to sit flush on the block. It was kicked out because of this extra amount of casting out here. So Holmes just knocked it off even with the rest of it. That should fix our problem. Should go right in, hopefully.
Yeah, we're gonna have to skip the tensioner for now. We're gonna have a different tensioner.
Get the wrong tensioner.
The Rob Bonnie Fab bracket doesn't work with the factory tensioner. It's a different part number. Can only assume that it's the same tensioner that would have been used on this 95 F800, but don't know that to be a fact either. All right, we're ready for an alternator?
I reckon.
All right, well, now that we got the front of the engine mostly squared away, we still got to deal with that tensioner, but I think it's just a matter of having the wrong part. But we'll get that and make sure that that's going to work. So the next thing to do is put the exhaust manifold and turbo on so we can check our intercooler piping. The stock piping should work in theory, but you got to be sure. We don't want any surprises down the road, so we're going to go ahead and hang it and check it. So to make life a little easier on us, we're gonna go ahead and pull this hood off. We need to pull it off anyway, and we'll show y'all why in a minute. But we're gonna get the hood off, get the manifold hung, and move on. Hung up. Turbo drain.
one temporarily mounted exhaust manifold and turbo.
Starting to get tight in here. Don't have a whole lot of room between those AC lines and the filter. There isn't going to be a whole lot of room between some sort of intake elbow and that alternator.
And then of course, the one thing we always knew was going to be fun is routing that exhaust down inside the frame. You look at it from over here, you can see where it sits, kind of in the flat of the firewall. So definitely going to be some fabricating going on to get that worked through there.
Yep. So that's the factory elbow that goes on that turbo. It's got a V-band clamp that holds it on there that's missing.
Yeah, I think we still got to make some adjustments to our angle of the dangle or something.
Yeah, it's like the boot is the problem. The bottom boot. Of course, they got it on there all cattywampus. Probably ought to take it loose, make some adjustments. You can see how crooked that thing is.
And of course, I've been wrong a lot before, but you know, the other thing to consider, which we had already mentioned maybe, is the clearance on the wheel well.
Yeah, I feel like we need to put the wheel wells in because it is pretty low. Which I know they don't go all the way to the frame and they fall off to a flat spot, but in the spirit of no surprises, we need to put them in. All right, so after many, many hours of deliberation, we have finally decided that this is the way we're going to run it. We're going to leave the factory hose in here. We've got factory intercooler pipe. They are rubbing each other, but the intercooler pipe isn't touching the fender well anywhere. We got 1/4 to 1/2 inch everywhere. So that's good. Our lineup here is as good as you could ask for. So the intercooler pipe is honestly perfect. We reclocked the turbo. We rolled it up, I don't know, what do you think, 10 degrees or so?
Yeah, probably give or take.
So that's all it really took to clear this fender well. So before it was running way down into it. We didn't really want to modify that. So the only rub really with the whole setup is the factory radiator hose rubbing on the intercooler pipe. So we contemplated just rebuilding like a custom radiator hose out of aluminum tubing. But again, we're trying to keep factory parts on it that are easily accessible and replaceable. So in the spirit of that, we're gonna just use a hose separator right here just to keep them off of each other so neither one of them gets a hole rubbed in it, and run it. I think that's our best option. So that takes us to the other side of the truck. And this intercooler pipe, which honestly isn't bad either, which stands to reason. The setup is pretty much all original, but with the front being more compressed, you know, this stuff is closer to the engine. Again, we're using the first gen fan hub, which brings the fan back, so everything's tighter, which is making this intercooler pipe a little bit too long. We need to get the boot off, but the end of the pipe is about right here. So I think it's just going to be a matter of shortening this intercooler pipe, get it up here where it lines up, and that's more or less going to be it. It's already got a bead rolled back here, so we may not even need to roll a new bead on it, but we'll figure that out when we get that boot off. But so that's what we're going to tackle right now. Well, we got a special guest in the shop. This is our good friend Sam.
Howdy. Really excited to come out and see these boys and see how everything really gets put together. Pretty nice of them letting me come out here and check them out.
Always welcome.
Yeah, we're glad to have you. Yeah, so we're about a 1/2 inch long.
Yep, not too much.
And you want some gap in there for expansion and contraction. So honestly, I still feel like, well, yeah, Sam coming through already. If we just cut it back here, you know, to reuse this bead as the bead that seals the boot, that'll give us 3/4 of an inch or so of gap in there, which probably be perfect.
What you want to try to cut that?
Probably the chop saw.
Okay.
I got that little bandsaw there, but
I was gonna ask you, like that?
so far, yeah, but it's still a portaband. It ain't gonna cut straight. It's not gonna cut fast, but you know how it is. Some things you gotta cut with a bandsaw.
For sure.
Still not enough?
Still not enough.
I'll be damned.
Cut it 3 times, still too short.
Yep, story of my life.
Yeah, I've always wanted a vertical bandsaw for doing tubing, you know, because I wanted to be able to set a headers, you know, just exhaust in general. A vertical bandsaw is perfect.
For the old 77.
Yeah, that's where it's all started.
Yeah. Am I doing something wrong?
No, I don't think so.
Did you eat Wheaties this morning?
No.
What is it with you two? Y'all don't ever eat your Wheaties.
That's it.
I asked him yesterday, you eat your Wheaties this morning? No. Well, didn't you know you were coming to work? Give it about 1/8 on the other side. Pretty straight to me.
Yep, it's pretty straight.
That ought to do. All right, see if this bad boy will fit in here now. I'd say that's just about exactly what we were going for.
Probably be better.
Oh. There we go. It's like factory.
Pretty close.
Well, we wanted to get a upper radiator hose to test fit that out, but they're not available around here right now. We'll have to order that in. But again, it should work. I mean, everything's more or less in the same place. It's just slid back just a little bit. But we'll get it and find out. So I think that's all we got engine-wise this week. The last thing we want to do is finish sorting out this hood latch situation like we talked about. So this is why we pulled old yellow hood off. Came across this week. This is a pretty decent hood. Not perfect. It's got a little bit of a ding in it here, but otherwise it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah,
Pretty
not bad at all.
straight. It's not super rusty. It's got a little surface rust on it, but a little ding in the front's really about it. So we're gonna get this thing bolted up and tackle this. It's handy having Sam here. I have to hire him out. Here, I got the front.
That's right. Need to put him on full-time payroll. I don't think we could afford him though.
That's right. Retirement's expensive, man. So I got two. Y'all like that cordless wrench?
So it seems like the black hood isn't necessarily square with the yellow hood. So our panel alignment isn't really working out the same as it did. So we've got the core support loosened up. We're gonna try to just push it that way. I don't know, maybe 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. It's not too much, but we're gonna try to get these gaps fixed up. So hopefully it'll move. It's flexing enough. I can feel it hitting the hood.
This gap's even.
Yeah, this gap's pretty even now.
Oh, you think it got there?
Well, just this side's even. I don't know. How are you?
My hood needs to come back out.
Yeah.
Oh. So I'm lined up there.
I don't know.
No, I think we did some good because this gap looks good now.
Yeah,
This
it's
does
still a
too.
little wider at the back, but it's way better than it was.
Yeah, because I was touching here,
Yeah.
and it was.
Now we got to do is try to get the bolts tight without moving it around too much. We may have to do this a couple of times.
Start with down yonder. Or?
Yeah, we'll tighten the core support back down.
Yeah, I see it falling down.
I think we're good.
Nice to know that you can achieve it versus being where it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's really what it's all about at this point. Just making sure you're going to be able to get it right. No surprises.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. So our new hood's on. It's looking good. So now we can focus on this hood latch. So Rob Bonney says you got to turn this thing 180 to where it's looking away from your AC condenser. And you may even have to do some trimming, he says. Because if we look down this hole where the hook goes, which it would normally be this way, looking in, the AC condenser is just almost flush with this edge of the hole where the hook grabs. So if you just close the hood, that hook is going to just scrape down the front of the AC condenser. So that's why it has to be turned around, and it's going to be tight. So first step on the hood is to, I guess, line the hook up right back where it was, but turned around and drill 2 more holes. And then we'll have to use bolts with nuts because these have nuts welded inside. gonna lose our wrench. It's our last 1/2-inch wrench.
Yeah, that's a high dollar one too. Popular Mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Let's not break the only piece of soapstone we got here.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see how we're gonna land here. All right. Well, that's a little bit of a problem.
That's revolting. Wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't either. I don't know. I hate to have to re-drill a whole new set of holes here. I don't know what would be better.
Well, I mean, we could always, you know, weld them up.
Yeah, that might be the better way to go. Just weld them up. All right. Well, let's re-drill them.
Oh my God, I gotta find the drill bits again. I told you we should have painted them.
It's right on my fingernail mark.
Problem is, the only paint we got around here is Hitachi gray.
That's right. And that's a good highlight. I love it when y'all get to paint stuff, because this is done.
Yep. Me too.
Got something for you.
What do we got here?
Got something, buddy.
High visibility.
Yeah!
But the tape looks the same. So it's just so you don't lose the tape itself?
Sure, hell, you know.
Or is it glow in the
I think
dark?
what he's getting at is you can actually see
Oh,
the
oh.
marks on the end.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right. You're welcome.
No, thank you.
I know it's hard to say thank you sometimes.
Yeah.
Let stuff go. I get it.
Yeah, so here's Sam taking care of us. Here's the old burn up tape.
Now you got so much more surface area you can burn with the new one.
Yeah. It is just as hard for us to read the 16ths on that last inch as it is for you. So now we have this.
Voila.
No more guessing. Sweet. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, no problem, bud. Yeah, I could have got you hired out at the carnival for sure. You got that contortionist stuff down like money.
Yeah, I'm always looking for a new career.
That's right.
Round, I don't know what. See where we're at. Oh, that's money. And we got a lot of room behind it. I'd say that's probably about, I don't know, 3/4 or more.
Sure.
And it's working. All right, well, now that that thing is sorted out, complete, we're all done with our intercooler setup. We've got the piping figured out. Unfortunately, we don't have the V-band clamp that clamps this original elbow back on there, so we can't necessarily put it together, but we know it's going to work out, so we're good there.
Same story as always, more parts needed.
Yep.
Never get enough parts.
Yeah, loads of parts in something like this.
Yeah, but I think that pretty much wraps it up for the fabrication we need to do up here, with the exception of the turn signal situation we got to sort out. But we've still got some work to do on looking at light options, kind of figure that out before we tackle that. So we'll have to save that one for another time.
Well, I'm glad I got to come by and see the boys. Things are looking really good. I hope y'all liked it as well. If y'all did, hit that like button. Type in subscribe in the bottom. Hopefully win this next giveaway coming up. Y'all have a good day. Adios.